If you're planning to visit the US anytime soon, then this video is for you. Hi everyone, my name is Zuri and you're welcome to my channel. Returning subscribers, you are so welcome. I do appreciate your loyalty. And if you're joining us for the first time, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Zuri, and on this channel, I do discuss travel tips, immigration tips, and I also discuss foreign opportunities, whether job opportunities or scholarship opportunities. So if this is something that you know that you're interested in, why not hit the subscribe button? And if you're feeling generous, you can share my video with 1 or 2 people that you know are also interested in these kind of topics that I share on this channel. Thank you. All right, so let's go into our topic for today. I have my laptop with me as usual, and today we'll be talking about the essential documents that you need if you want to visit the US. All right, so stay tuned and don't go anywhere because I have a bonus tip for you at the end of the video. Why is the USA still an exciting and interesting destination for Nigerians and foreigners in general, in spite of all the issues that we're facing? If you're a Nigerian, you can share in the pain when I tell you that it is really crazy when you're trying to apply for a visa to the US. But why do you think that Nigerians and foreigners in general are still clamoring to go to the US, whether for visit, for study, or for work? From the bustling streets of New York City to the serene landscapes of national parks like Yellowstone and the Grand Canyon, the USA offers something for every type of traveler. Whether you're into history, culture, shopping, or outdoor adventures, there is absolutely no shortage of things to do and see in the US. Another reason why the US is a top destination is because of the amazing opportunities it provides for networking, business, and even education opportunities. I know that this video is basically talking about visit visa, but then even being on a visitor visa in the USA can open doors to networking and some other amazing opportunities down the line. Now, without further ado, let's get into the meat of today's topic. What are the documents that you need in order to apply for your USA visit visa as a foreigner? It's crucial to have everything prepared to ensure a smooth process, okay? It's not when you now start saying, oh, I forgot something, I forgot this, I forgot that, or I need to renew my passport. I once had a client who was applying for a particular country's visa and he totally forgot that he was meant to have proper validity on his passport, okay, before he started. It was when he came to me for guidance that I had to tell him, this your passport, you need to have proper validity on your passport. Anyway, that's by the way. So let's talk about the essential documents that you need in order to apply for your USA visit visa. And like I just mentioned now, you need to have a valid passport. It is advisable that your passport is valid for at least 6 months beyond the period of your intended stay in the US, okay? At least 6 months, okay? And you need to ensure that you have enough space on your passport for the visa stamp, okay? So ensure that you have enough pages on your passport for your visa stamp. Let's talk about the next one. You need to fill your DS-160 form. That is the application form for your visit visa. You need to fill it appropriately. One very important tip with filling the DS-160 form is that you need to make sure that the information you're providing on the DS-160 form is true and that it is accurate with all your matching documents. Whatever it is that you're filling in the DS-160 form, in that application form, make sure that you can prove it and you can back it up with your matching documents. For example, if you say you have traveled to 5 countries in the past, make sure that your travel history is able to back it up on your passport, okay? Don't just give stories that you cannot back up. It is very important. Also, know that the visa officer is going to be looking through your documents and any mistake can throw him or her off, okay? If you haven't watched that video on what the visa officer really wants from you, please go watch it. I'm going to link it in the description below. It is an interesting video that you are going to love, okay? On that video, I talk about what the visa officer expects from you and why he expects those things from you, okay? So please go watch that video. Now let's go on to the next one. The next one I wrote down here is your visa fee receipt. Now you need to pay your non-refundable visa fee and you need to take that receipt with you when you are going for your visa interview. It is very important. Please it's going to be required. Please do not joke with that, okay? The next one I wrote down here is a passport sized photograph. It has to be, I wrote down here that it has to be a recent passport size photograph. Don't bring a passport photo that you took many years ago saying your face is still the same, okay? Try to ensure that it is recent, it is colored, and it is in line with the USA policy for passport size photos. So the next one that I wrote down here is your travel itinerary. While it is not mandatory to have your flights booked ahead of time, it is important that you provide a detailed travel itinerary stating your departure date, your return date, your accommodation details, and if possible, the names of the places that you plan to visit while in the US. Now, those things can strengthen your application, so do not joke with them. The next one I wrote down here is proof of financial support. You will need to show evidence that you can take care of yourself when you get to the US. Now, when it comes to proof of financial support, it varies, okay? It is not a one-size-fits-all policy, all right? Some people are visiting the US on their own and they don't have anybody they're visiting in the US. Some people have a host in the US, maybe a relative or a friend or something. So it really depends. But I would advise that you have at least $3,000 to $5,000 US in your proof of funds, okay? Depending on your situation and also depending on the length of your stay. Now, I have a video where I have talked about proof of funds. I talked about the silly mistakes we make with proof of funds when showing proof of funds. I've talked about how to grow your proof of funds. I've talked about how to show your proof of funds. So please go watch that video because it is very essential when it comes to applying for any visa. Do not apply for a visa without watching my video on proof of funds. Some of you think that all you have to do is have several millions of naira or several thousands of dollars or pounds in your account and that is that. No, there are other silly mistakes that we make when showing or growing our proof of funds. I'm going to link that video in the description below because I really talked about everything and I don't want to go back there, okay? So please go watch that video. Now let's go to the next one. The next one I wrote down here is employment verification. Now a lot of people might not think that this is important, but for me, I would really love for your application to be as loaded as possible so that there is no room for denial, okay? So employment verification, basically, if you have a job, if you're working, a letter from your employer verifying that you're working for that company, if possible, your employment letter, and a letter from your employer stating that you're on leave, like an approval letter, a leave approval letter stating when you're leaving and when you would return, okay? And if you're a business owner, because I know some people are saying, I don't have a job, but I have a business, I run my own business. If you're a business owner, ensure that you show your registration, okay, your business registration. In Nigeria, we call it CAC, okay? So make sure you show your business documents and your registration documents, and if possible, your proof of funds, okay, for that business, all right? That is one way of showing proof of ties to your country. But my next point is basically proof of ties, okay? And I know that a lot of people don't really talk about proof of ties as much as I do. I really talk about proof of ties a whole lot when it comes to traveling. Proof of ties basically is talking about how much you are attached to your country. And this is really important when you're applying for a visit visa, especially because you are trying to convince the visa officer that I need to go to your country, but then I will be coming back. Right? You're trying to convince the visa officer that you would actually return to your home country when you go to their country. And so you have to prove that you are well attached to your country in order to let the visa officer know that, okay, I will be coming back. Now, in order to show proof of ties, I wrote down a lot of things here, but I'm just going to mention a few. Some of them are property ownership, maybe a lease agreement, maybe your family connections, and all that. Now, I know that you're wondering what are the other things that you can show when it comes to proof of ties. I have a video that I have created telling you how to show proof of ties, okay? The things that your travel agent or travel consultant might not tell you, I am here to tell you, okay? How to show your proof of ties, documents that you can show to tell the visa officer that I am attached to my country and I will be coming back. I'm going to link the proof of ties video in the description below, okay? Please watch it. Before you apply for any visit visa or for a visit visa to the USA, watch that video because you need to prove to the visa officer that you will be returning home after your visit. Okay, now the next one I wrote down here, it is not mandatory, but then if it's available, you need to show an invitation letter. Now remember, I talked about some people's situation. Some people might be visiting the US on their own and have nobody in the US, while some people might be visiting a friend in the US, while some people might be visiting a family member in the US. Now what I would advise for you to do is show your invitation letter. If you are visiting somebody in the US, maybe a friend or a family member, make sure that the person is able to draft you an invitation letter. I have a video talking about how to write an invitation letter that your visa officer cannot ignore and cannot refuse. Okay, on that video I talked about the things that should be in your invitation letter, the qualities and the properties and the information that should be in your invitation letter, as well as a lot of other things. Okay, so I'm going to link it to the description below. Please make sure you watch that video before you apply for a visit visa to the US or to any other country. The next one I wrote down here is travel history. You need to include copies of visas. You need to include copies of entry and exit stamps. It is very, very essential, and having a good travel history can positively influence your application. Trust me, because the US is going to say, the visa officer rather, is going to say, oh, this person has actually traveled to these countries and has come back on time. Okay, the person did not overstay in this country. Hopefully you did not overstay in those countries, right? The person is going to say, the visa officer rather is going to say, wow, this person has actually traveled to all these countries and has come back to his or her country in good time. So it is possible that he or she would come back from the US after visiting the US. Okay, it's only one of those things that help the visa officer to know that you're a genuine traveler and that you're ready to come back to your country once it is almost time for your visa to expire. Don't wait till your visa is expired before you come back, okay? Please come back before your visa expires. All right, now let's go to the next one. I hope that you are enjoying yourself on this video. The next one is the visa interview appointment confirmation. After filling your application form and paying your visa fees, you're definitely going to schedule a visa interview at the nearest USA embassy or consulate. Okay, make sure that you bring your appointment confirmation with you to the embassy. It is extremely important, okay, because you need to show that you actually have an appointment. Having all these documents organized and ready would make your process smoother and faster and increases your chances of a visa approval. Please remember to go watch all those videos I've mentioned. Number one, I talked about what the visa officer wants from you. You need to watch that to understand the documents that the visa officer wants from you. I also have a video on proof of funds, which I have mentioned to you. I have linked in the description below as well. Please go watch that video on proof of funds. I have a video talking about proof of ties, how to show your proof of ties to the visa officer in order for them to understand that you are still attached to your country and you will come back to your country. Okay, so please go watch all those videos, and I am very sure that your chance of approval would be very, very, very high. Okay, if you have not clicked on the like button, please give me a thumbs up. Okay, click on the like button if you enjoyed what you heard in this video, and if you enjoyed the video, please click on the subscribe button as well. And if you're feeling generous, you can share this video with somebody that you know is thinking of traveling to the US. Even if they're not thinking of traveling to the US, please still share this video with them, because they might pick one or two things for when they would want to travel. Till I see you in the next video, stay safe and keep traveling.